Hello, welcome to Cats Love. Today I'm finally talking about why cats have whiskers. So today we're basically just going to be talking about why cats have whiskers in general, what they do, how they help the cat in everyday scenarios, how long they can grow, and basically just everything you need to know about them. This is the Whiskers 101 video. So let's get into what exactly a cat's whisker is. A whisker is a follicle full of nerve receptors which is made out of keratin, the same material that our hair and nails are made of. But a cat's whisker is much thicker than a hair follicle. Each whisker is connected to a muscle in the cat's muzzle, which is a sensory organ which is known as a proprioceptor, which can detect what objects the whisker is touching, and vibrations in the air, relaying information to the cat's brain, also allowing them to control each individual whisker. The whiskers can grow from super short and stubby to 6 or more inches long. The cat with the longest whiskers is a cat named Missy, or Missy, who has 7.5-inch long whiskers. So what do whiskers do? Well, they do a lot. Let's start with the cat's communication. The positioning of a cat's whisker can tell you how they feel or even if they're in pain. A stressed or angry cat will press their whiskers against their face. A relaxed one will have more calmer and curled whiskers. When the whiskers are peaked forward, that means the cat is curious. A cat's whisker can also help determine if a cat can fit through an opening or not. A cat's whiskers are usually about as wide as their body, so if their whiskers can fit through, then that means their body can. If not, then they're going to have to find another route. Or they could just squeeze through the opening since cats are very flexible, but more than likely they'll just find another route. Whiskers can detect changes in air currents, which vibrates their whiskers. They can act as protection against the cat's face, since they are sensitive and if anything gets close, it will alert the cat. The whiskers can also help the cat's hunting skills. When prey rubs against a cat's whiskers, then they can use that to determine what to do next. Basically, they can base an entire attack off of a little brush of their whiskers. Cats can tell which way is up or down with their whiskers, so basically just orientation. And they can use their whiskers to maneuver in pitch black or unfamiliar areas. So that's how whiskers can help a cat in everyday activities. But now let's figure out where the whiskers can be. First, we need to understand that a cat can have around a total of 30 whiskers. Let's talk about their famous whiskers, the one on their cheeks. There are 12 whiskers on each cheek, arranged in horizontal rows of 3. They will always have an even number of whiskers altogether. They can have about 5 whiskers on their forehead just right above their eyes, and cats even have whiskers on their chin and feet. The whisker can be located at around where their ankle would be, and it can help them climb and determine if their prey is still alive after an attack. These whiskers have their own names, with their cheek whiskers being called mystical whiskers. Their eyebrow whiskers are called superciliary whiskers. Their chin whiskers are called mandibular whiskers, and their feet whiskers being carpal whiskers. So now that we got the basics figured out, let's talk about some bonus stuff that you should know about whiskers. Starting with why your cat might have black whiskers. If your cat has normal colored whiskers and you randomly see a black one, you may think that it's broken or dead. Well, no, a cat having more than one black whisker is totally normal. Dead skin cells around the whisker can cause it to turn into a dark gray or black color, instead of the usual translucent white color. And the reason why a cat's whisker is usually that white shaded color is simply because there is no pigmentation in their muzzle area where the whiskers grow from, causing it to look white and almost translucent. Also, a black whisker could mean it's about to fall out, or your cat is just simply getting older. The older a cat gets, the more gray and black their whiskers get. Or you just simply have a black cat, like me.
Look at them whiskers. He has black whiskers.
Anyway, you may see a whisker laying around your house every now and then, and I did mention that they can fall out, so what happens when a whisker falls out? Well, a whisker has a life cycle. It grows, it's in its prime, and then it dies. And once it dies, it usually falls out. As long as it falls out naturally, then another one should grow back in about 2 weeks. But what happens if they don't fall out naturally? What would happen if you were to pull it out or trim it? Well, 9 times out of 10, if you pull the whisker out yourself, then you would have damaged the follicle that they grow from. If you pull out a whisker that isn't ready, then 9 times out of 10, another whisker won't grow back. If you trim a cat's whisker, then they will get sensory confused, and just a majority of bad things could happen. They won't be able to walk as good since they can't really determine their environment as well. There is a saying about that if you trim a cat's whisker, it will walk sideways. Although it won't walk sideways, it'll more walk like this, all discombobulated. They might get stuck more, as they might have underestimated how small an opening is. They might not be able to land properly, and you just simply don't want to do that. It can be painful if you pull it out yourself or trim it, so you just want to leave them alone. So their whiskers must be very sensitive. Well, like I've mentioned throughout the video, they are full of nerves and stuff like that, so of course they are very sensitive. So ruining these nerves could be detrimental to their everyday lives, leading to the #1 cause of a whisker being damaged, whisker fatigue. What is whisker fatigue? Well, it comes from when a cat is repeatedly rubbing on something, which is usually a food or water bowl with the brim being too small. It's basically an overload on the cat's whiskers and can cause aggression, trouble eating, and pain. How to solve it? Well, you just get a bigger, more whisker-friendly bowl, and while you're at it, you might as well just get an elevated bowl so that way you can help out with their posture. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope I didn't give you whisker fatigue with all this information. I was going to do 2 separate videos on black whiskers and whisker fatigue, but since I was already doing a deep dive into the whole subject, I thought I might as well just include them here. Also, if you want to help my cat Dusk have a chance of winning $10,000, then I will leave the link in the description to vote for him. It's a little campaign I've been doing for Dusk. It's the Vote for Dusk campaign. And while you're down there, you should see a link to my new Facebook account. I know not a lot of people really use Facebook anymore, but I'm just trying to spread to other platforms. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Cat's Love. I'll see you next episode. And while you're at it, look at this little whisker that I found from Dusk.